1 hour from now, Colin right, Colin wrong. Love shows like today. Love shows like today. Joy Taylor off a weekend in New Orleans and watching football games joins us. Joy, how are you?
I'm great. I am so excited for the Super Bowl.
Oh, sometimes you kind of root a little bit, you know. Kind of easier to root for Mahomes than Tannehill. I'm not going to lie about that.
Look, we got what we wanted.
Yes.
We got what we wanted, but I think it's going to be a very interesting game.
So let me start with a team I didn't buy all year. I said all year with Green Bay, I don't care about the record. I don't care about stats. I just know what my eyes tell me, and this is a 9-7 football team masquerading as 14-3. And yesterday's a prime example of Green Bay. Pushed all over the field. If you look at the stats, 7 yards of play, Aaron 31 of 39, had more first downs, great on third down, 2 for 2 on fourth, time of possession. Green Bay, if you just looked at the stats, twice they played the Niners. They were outscored 50-0 in the first half. Green Bay is a finesse team, and the stats and their record didn't fool my eyes. I didn't buy them all year. Their defense is opportunistic, but we've all watched great defenses before. They jump through the television set. They punch you in the forehead. This defense doesn't scare anybody. It didn't want any part of those running backs yesterday. Half the guys in the back end of that defense looked intimidated. I watched a fight in the octagon this weekend, Cowboy Cerrone and Conor McGregor. The octagon gets very small. When you're the second toughest guy in the octagon, it gets really small. And San Francisco is like Conor McGregor. They'll take anybody on anytime. And Green Bay looked a lot like Cowboy Cerrone. Let me get out of here. I'm not comfortable. I think Green Bay got very lucky this year. I don't think they're untalented. They won their division, and that takes something. But Green Bay got lucky. They faced Patrick Mahomes, or they faced Kansas City. Mahomes was out. Their division unraveled, the Bears and the Lions. They got lucky in the playoff. They were healthy all year. Then in the playoffs, Minnesota upsets the Saints, and they get a Seattle team instead of the Saints. Seattle fell apart 2 weeks earlier. Everything went their way. I always trust my eyes. Then I go to stats to see if the stats tell me what I think my eyes tell me. You could not watch Green Bay this year get pushed around by Philadelphia, pushed around by the Chargers, pushed around by San Francisco. Hell, they were an 8-point underdog at 14-3. An 8-point underdog. That's insane. I don't even know. Has there ever been a 14-3 team that's over a touchdown underdog against Jimmy Garoppolo? It's not like they were facing Mahomes. Like, I get 8-point underdog to Mahomes, to Jimmy Garoppolo? Come on now. To a young 49ers team? Do you know that Green Bay only beat one playoff team all year that had their starting cornerback? Minnesota. And in the 2 games they faced San Francisco and got into the octagon, 106 yards for Aaron Rodgers, a pick, and a 52 passer rating. And I've said this about Aaron Rodgers in the first half. Let me say this about Aaron Rodgers. He's very good, obviously. He's very talented. But I think his mythology now is greater than the reality. Did you see him in the first half? You think he was good? He was missing on little stuff out into the flat. He had fumbles. He had picks. He played it safe. You know, Aaron's talented. I'm not denying that. But I said this going into the game. You better crank it up. You better throw some haymakers against this team because they're going to smell it. Just like an octagon. The tougher guy in the octagon can smell the fear. They say animals can smell fear. Like San Francisco could smell Minnesota's fear a week ago. They could smell that Minnesota didn't want to get Kirk Cousins in harm's way. San Francisco could smell the fraudulent Packers' fear. Dump-offs, quick hits, get out. Little Cam Newton there with Aaron Rodgers, fumbles lost. I'm not getting in that pile. I got nothing against Green Bay. But there are teams. Remember this year we got into this big thing. Everybody was freaking out. I can't believe that somebody is going to win the NFC East, the Cowboys and the Eagles, and they're going to be 8-8. They should have to go on the road. Time out. Philadelphia went to Lambeau and rolled Green Bay. They're not worthy of a home playoff game? I can make an argument Green Bay, based on my eyes, was never worthy of a home playoff game. If Seattle didn't get banged up on the O-line and at running back, Seattle should have been hosting Green Bay if it's all about if it's all about what you think and record and this and that, listen, I got nothing against Green Bay. I'll say it again. But I'm not a stat guy, and I'm not a guy that looks at all the glossy numbers and stats, and you were telling me all this stuff. All I know is when I watched Green Bay play San Francisco twice, they were Cowboy Cerrone. They had no interest being in that octagon. Now, Aaron Rodgers says we are very, very, and for the record, what have I said about Aaron Rodgers now? He doesn't like discomfort. He doesn't like playing on the road, but he thinks they're very close to San Francisco.
Well, it looks pretty big. You know, they got us a couple times, but I don't think it's that big. I think we're really close. I think we're just, just a little more consistent performance away from consistently playing with these guys. But, we got them at home, their place twice. I've said this before, we got to get one of these at home. It's a different ball game. It's different, playing in 20-degree weather and snow, cold and wind is a different type of game than playing here.
Okay. All right. Well, you could earn that had you beaten Philadelphia at home. could earn that if you'd have gone on to San Francisco and won on the road. Yeah, you got to win those uncomfortable games. For the record, I think Green Bay is the poorest coached, the least talented, and the least physical of the final four teams that survived in the NFL playoffs. So is that close? You make the call. I don't think it is. All right, let me shift to a happier story. I love Andy Reid. I love smart. I love tough. I love clever. I like creative. I like talented. And I like Andy Reid. Check, 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 check. I'm very happy for them. One of the things I love about excellence, and I've said this before, I don't root for the underdog. I root for great. I rooted for Kobe. I rooted for Shaq. I rooted for Michael Jordan. I rooted for the Warriors. I root for the Yankees. I want to watch history. I root for great. I root for excellence. You want to root for George Mason? Knock yourself out. I root for Duke. I want 36-0. I like to see Kentucky go on rolls. We're different that way. I've always argued everybody plays the lottery for the same reason. We all want to be rich. When we don't win, we just hate what we're not. But there's nobody playing the lottery because they want to be middle class. We're all rooting for great. We want to be great, and we want to be excellent. We want to eat excellent. We want to fly excellent. We want to stay at excellent. What I love about Patrick Mahomes is that he's great, and great creates clarity. Half the teams in this NFL can't have an honest conversation with themselves about their quarterback. Chicago's trying to convince himself we got the right guy. Half the teams in this league use qualifiers to explain their quarterback. Well, he's good at home if you give him a great tight end and an excellent running game. You watch Kirk Cousins against San Francisco pick up 2 first downs in the first half. Compare him to Mahomes. You saw Ryan Tannehill this weekend trailing, trying to go toe-to-toe against Patrick Mahomes. What'd that look like? Kansas City for years. You know Alex Smith is good enough. No, he's not. He's good, but he's not good enough. Patrick Mahomes creates clarity. For the next 10 years, Andy Reid's calling and designing the plays. Mahomes is slinging it. They'll draft great weapons. This is the offensive bar. Stop going into rooms. What do they say? The hardest person to be honest with is yourself. Stop trying to convince yourself that the Tannehills and the Trubiskys and the Kirk Cousins, or even, I would argue, the Cam Newtons. This is the bar. Okay? Well, Colin, once you pay Mahomes big money, they won't have the weapons. You're right. But like Russell Wilson, he'll still make them great. You don't think Travis Kelce's numbers are inflated because of Mahomes? I like Tyreek Hill too. You think you put him with every other quarterback in the league, and Tyreek Hill is getting that ball softly in his hands? Sammy Watkins, perfectly timed. Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. They'll have to move off some of their players because of Patrick Mahomes' salary. That's okay. Russell Wilson's never had a great receiving core, never had a great offensive line, and he's one play from 2 Super Bowls. The NFL, unlike the NBA, is not beholden to one player for ratings. But I'll tell you this. If I ran a network, I would put Patrick Mahomes with Andy Reid on television every week. I'd be fighting for him for Monday Night Football. I'd be fighting for him for Thursday Night Football. And I also think Mahomes, not only is he a great talent, and certainly he benefits from Andy Reid and the playmakers. We all get the game here. Nobody lives on an island. As good as LeBron is, he was much better with D. Wade and Chris Bosh than Matthew Dellavedova, right? Like, we all get Kobe Bryant was way better with Shaq and Pau Gasol than the years he didn't have either. We all get that, right? Nobody lives on an island. Everybody needs help. But I would say Mahomes does remind me a little bit of Steph Curry in Kansas City, Golden State. Steph Curry would be great in any time, but it does help that he plays in a league that you can't hand check, and he's a smaller guard, and that coaches are encouraging three-point shots. It plays to his strengths. And it does help that Patrick Mahomes doesn't play in 1960, 70, 80, or early 90s, where coaches really believe passing gets you in trouble. It's a passing league. You can't touch receivers. That allows Kansas City to go get track guys, run as fast as you can. They don't worry about getting hit, and Patrick's got the golden arm. This is the way football, if you look at the rules designed by the NFL or the NBA wants you to look like Golden State last year, and they want you to look like Kansas City now. Hard not to root for them. They check all the boxes. They're smart, they're fun, they're clever, they're cool, they're tough, they're exciting, and they're going to Miami. Arrow heading to Miami. Here's Andy Reid after.
Where's the trophy? Man. Listen, first of all, I'm so happy for the Hunt family and bringing that trophy back here. Wow. How great is that? That's right. That's right. Fired up to go to Miami. Need to get on a diet so I can fit in my clothes so we can go do our thing. But very proud of everybody and the job that they did.
Can't wait. I'll talk about who I'm rooting for. A tough one because I love Andy Reid and I love Mahomes, but I just have so much respect for the Shanahan family. Jimmy Garoppolo, we were right on that. 45 minutes from now, Colin right, Colin wrong. Coming up next, I know it's a tough day for you Aaron Rodgers pom-pom wavers. I'd like to add some context to that coming up next. Again, Colin right, wrong.